The first gunshot was still ringing inside the head of Damien Russo when he walked through the doors of his family estate. Rainwater darkened the shoulders of his black coat. A thin line of blood marked the edge of his white cuff. 4 armed guards followed him across the marble entrance hall, their expressions warning everyone nearby not to ask what had happened on the highway. The musicians in the ballroom did not miss a note. The wealthy guests continued drinking. The Russo family dinner had begun without him. Damien stopped beneath the crystal chandelier and surveyed the long dining room through the open doors. Politicians, judges, investors, and men whose names never appeared in newspapers sat around a table covered with white roses and antique silver. At the head of the table sat Vittoria Russo, his mother. Beside her sat Salvatore Russo, the uncle who had helped Damien rebuild the family after the night they lost everything. Damien should have walked directly to his chair. Instead, he noticed the empty place near the kitchen entrance. A small plate remained on a service cart. The food had gone cold. A folded napkin rested beside it. He looked toward the housekeeper, supervising the staff. "Where is the woman who was standing here when I arrived this afternoon?" The housekeeper lowered her eyes. "Outside, sir." Damien became still. "Why?" No one answered. His mother placed down her wineglass. "We are hosting people of influence tonight." "Damien, the cleaning staff have already been paid. There was no reason for that woman to remain where the guests could see her." Damien looked toward the glass doors at the far end of the room. Beyond them, past the warm lights and expensive curtains, delivery workers were loading empty crates near the service courtyard. A woman sat alone at a folding table under a narrow metal awning. She wore a simple gray uniform. Her dark auburn hair was tied behind her neck. Her body was soft and full beneath the plain fabric. But she held herself with quiet dignity. She did not bend her shoulders or hide her face. She ate slowly while rain struck the stone only a few feet away. She looked as if she had learned long ago how to survive humiliation without giving cruel people the satisfaction of watching her break. Damien remembered seeing her earlier that day. She had been kneeling beside a shattered vase in the east corridor. One of the visiting women had blamed her for the damage, even though Damien had watched the woman knock it over with her purse. The cleaner had not defended herself. She had only gathered the broken porcelain before a child could step on it. Something about her silence had disturbed him. Now that same feeling returned. It was not pity. Damien Russo did not experience pity easily. It was recognition without memory. He crossed the dining room. His mother called his name, but he continued toward the glass doors. The guests became silent as Damien stepped into the rain. Outside, Olivia Hayes heard the door open behind her. She did not turn immediately. She had seen Damien Russo only twice since beginning work at the estate. Both times, the entire atmosphere had changed when he entered a room. Staff members stood straighter. Security guards touched their earpieces. Even members of his own family watched him carefully. He was taller than she had expected, with broad shoulders, dark hair, and a face that revealed almost nothing. His eyes were a cold shade of gray that seemed capable of noticing every lie a person had ever told. Tonight, blood stained his cuff. Olivia decided she did not want to know whose blood it was. She placed down her fork. "Mr. Russo." His gaze moved over the plastic plate, the metal chair, and the rain falling beyond the awning. "Who told you to eat here?" Olivia looked through the glass doors. Every guest inside was watching. "Your mother believed this was more appropriate." Damien looked at Vittoria. The older woman stood inside the dining room with one hand resting on the back of her chair. Olivia expected Damien to apologize for the misunderstanding and return to his guests. Men like him did not challenge their families for women who cleaned their floors. Instead, he reached for the empty chair beside the wall. The chair was ordinary metal. It did not belong near the polished dining room, furniture, or the valuable paintings inside the estate. Damien lifted it with one hand. Olivia stared at him. "What are you doing?" Eating dinner? He placed the chair beside her and sat down. The rain struck the roof above them. Inside the mansion, no one moved. Olivia looked at the blood on his sleeve. You should have that examined. Damien ignored the comment. Why did you agree to come outside? I did not agree. I was ordered. Why did you obey? Because I needed the job more than your mother needed an argument. Something changed in his expression. It was small enough that most people would have missed it. Olivia did not. Damien reached across the table for the water pitcher. The handle slipped slightly beneath his wet fingers. Olivia caught it before it fell. Her sleeves moved back from her wrists. The world inside, Damien stopped. The skin across the backs of her hands was uneven and pale. Thick scars crossed her fingers and disappeared beneath her sleeves. Near the base of her left thumb was a curved mark, shaped like a broken crescent. Damien stared at it. Suddenly, he was no longer 38 years old. He was 22, choking on smoke in a burning apartment building. He heard glass breaking. He heard his younger brother screaming from the room at the end of the hall. He remembered trying to reach Luca, but a burning beam had fallen between them. Then a stranger had appeared through the smoke. A young woman. She had wrapped Luca in a wet curtain and carried him toward the window. When Damien tried to follow, the ceiling collapsed. The last thing he had seen was the hand of the stranger pressed against the heated window latch. The metal had burned a curved wound into her skin. A broken crescent. The pitcher trembled between Damien and Olivia. He caught her wrist. Olivia froze. His grip was not painful, but it was absolute. Show me your hand. Release me. Where did you get these scars? That is not your concern. His eyes lifted to hers. For the first time since he had stepped outside, the cold control in his face cracked. There was shock beneath it, and fear. Olivia pulled against his hand. Damien released her immediately. The glass doors opened behind him. Vittoria stepped into the courtyard. Damien, our guests are waiting. He did not look away from Olivia. How old were you 16 years ago? Olivia felt something cold move through her chest. 17. Where did you live, Brooklyn? What street? Why, his voice lowered. What street? Olivia. She pushed back from the table. I am not answering questions while you stare at me as if I committed a crime. Damien stood with her. Several guards moved closer, but he raised one hand and stopped them. His mother looked between them. What is happening? Damien watched Olivia pull her sleeves over her scars. He remembered the hospital after the fire. Luca had been unconscious for 3 days. Their father had died. Their home. Their money. And every legitimate business the family owned had disappeared in a single night. When Luca finally woke, he had asked about the girl with burned hands. No one had known her name. The fire department had found no record of her. The hospital had claimed that no unidentified young woman had been treated. Damien had searched for years. He had paid detectives, threatened officials, and opened files that powerful people had tried to bury. The stranger had vanished. Now she stood before him in a cleaner uniform while his family ate behind crystal glass. Damien turned toward his head of security. Bring every table outside. Vittoria stared at him. What did you say? Every table. Every chair. Every plate. Salvatore appeared in the doorway. Nephew, perhaps the attack tonight has affected your judgment. Damien looked at him. The highway ambush had failed because Damien had sensed the trap before the first vehicle blocked the road. 3 attackers were dead. One was being questioned in a warehouse beside the Hudson River. Damien had returned to the estate, believing the danger was connected to the business vote scheduled during dinner. Now he was no longer certain. Move the dinner outside, Damien repeated. His mother stepped toward him. You cannot humiliate this family before our guests because a member of the cleaning staff has made you emotional. Damien faced the dining room. His voice remained quiet. Anyone who remains inside will never enter a Russo property again. No one doubted him. Within minutes, guards and staff carried the long tables through the glass doors. Wealthy guests gathered their coats and followed into the covered courtyard. White roses shook beneath the wind. Expensive shoes touched wet stone. Damien moved his metal chair closer to Olivia. Then he sat beside her. His mother remained standing. Salvatore watched Olivia with an expression that was almost calm. Almost. For one brief second, she saw fear in his eyes. It disappeared before Damien noticed. But Olivia noticed, and she knew that being recognized by Damien Russo had placed her in danger. The dinner continued beneath the storm. No one mentioned the blood on the cuff of Damien. No one complained about the rain. Olivia tried to leave twice, but guards blocked the service gate. Damien did not touch her again. He did not speak to her for the rest of the meal. He simply remained beside her, silent and alert, while his family discussed an inheritance worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The vote concerned control of Russo Maritime, the shipping company that had rebuilt the legal side of the family fortune. Damien owned the largest share. Salvatore controlled enough votes to challenge him if Vittoria supported the transfer. Olivia understood little about the business, but she understood people. Salvatore smiled too often. Vittoria avoided looking at her. Damien watched everyone. Near midnight, the last guest departed. Olivia removed her apron and walked toward the service gate. Two guards stepped into her path. She turned toward Damien. He stood beneath the stone archway with his hands inside his coat pockets. "Tell them to move." "Not yet. My shift ended an hour ago." "Your shift is no longer important." "It is important to me." A faint muscle moved in his jaw. "You were inside the building on Fulton Street 16 years ago." Olivia said nothing. Apartment 4. The air left her lungs. Damien approached slowly. A boy was trapped in the rear bedroom. 6 years old. Dark hair, smoke in his lungs. Olivia looked toward the guards. Her heart began beating faster. She had spent years avoiding that memory, not because she regretted saving the child, but because the fire had taken more from her than the skin on her hands. She had lost her apartment. She had lost her job. She had spent months in a public hospital while bills destroyed the small savings left by her parents. When she recovered, the building owner claimed no child had been rescued by her. Police reports listed the boy as removed by emergency workers. Olivia had eventually accepted that the child survived. She never learned his name. Damien stopped before her. The boy was Luca Russo. Olivia searched his face. "Your brother, my brother." She remembered frightened brown eyes beneath a layer of soot. She remembered a small hand gripping her shirt while flames consumed the hallway. She remembered the boy crying for someone named Damien. Olivia looked away. "He survived." Damien did not answer immediately. "He survives." The choice of words made her look back at him. "Is he here?" "Yes." "Can I see him?" "No." Her expression hardened. "Then why did you stop me?" "Because no one knew your name." There was no hospital record, no witness statement, and no explanation for how you disappeared. "I did not disappear. No one came looking." "I looked." "You did not look hard enough." The words struck him. Guards around them became tense. Few people spoke to Damien Russo that way and remained standing. He stepped closer. "I searched for you for 16 years. Olivia held his gaze. "Then, perhaps someone did not want you to find me." Silence spread across the courtyard. Damien turned toward the mansion. "Get Luca." One guard hesitated. "Sir." Dr. Moreland said he should not be disturbed after 10. Damien looked at him. "Get my brother." The guard left. Olivia folded her arms over her chest. "I am not waiting here like a prisoner." "You are not a prisoner. Your men are blocking the gate because someone arranged for you to begin working in this house 3 weeks before an attempt was made on my life." Olivia stared at him. "I applied through an agency." The agency director disappeared yesterday. I had nothing to do with that. I believe you. His quick answer unsettled her more than suspicion would have. Why? Because you did not know who Luca was. You cannot know that. I know when people lie. Everyone believes that until the right person deceives them. For the first time, Damien almost smiled. It was not warmth. It was interest. The doors opened behind them. A young man stepped into the courtyard with a doctor beside him. Luca Russo was 22, but pain had made him appear older. A pale scar curved along the right side of his neck. He walked without assistance, though his breathing was careful and one hand remained near his chest. His eyes moved from Damien to Olivia. No one spoke. Rain whispered against the stone. Olivia saw the frightened child beneath the face of the man. Luca took one step closer. His lips parted. You sang to me. Olivia could not breathe. She had forgotten that part. The fire had roared around them. Luca had been screaming so hard that he could not follow her instructions. To calm him, Olivia had hummed the simple melody her mother once used during thunderstorms. Luca pressed one hand over his mouth. You told me to close my eyes and count your heartbeats. Olivia felt tears fill her eyes. You kept opening them. Luca laughed once, but the sound broke apart. Then he crossed the courtyard and wrapped his arms around her. Olivia held him. Her scarred hands rested against his back. Damien stood several feet away. He had seen his brother survive bullets, surgeries, nightmares, and years of silence. He had never seen Luca cry. Now Luca wept against the shoulder of a cleaner their mother had sent outside. Something dark and powerful moved through Damien. Gratitude was part of it. Guilt was stronger, but beneath both was another feeling he did not yet understand. Olivia looked at him over the shoulder of Luca. There was no fear in her eyes now, only accusation. She had saved the person Damien loved most. His family had rewarded her by making her eat in the rain. Damien looked toward his mother. Vittoria stood inside the doorway. Her face had gone pale. She knew. Damien recognized the truth immediately. His mother had known exactly who Olivia was. Chapter 1. The house became silent after Luca returned to his room. Vittoria dismissed the remaining staff. Salvatore claimed he needed to make a telephone call. But Damien ordered the gates locked before his uncle reached the entrance. No one left. Olivia stood inside the library between Damien and his mother. She had changed out of her wet uniform and wore a dark sweater borrowed from one of the housekeepers. The sleeves covered most of her scars. Damien hated that she felt the need to hide them. He hated more that he had noticed. Vittoria remained beside the fireplace. I did not know she was the same woman. Damien watched her. You recognized her scars. I suspected. When? 3 weeks ago. Olivia looked at her. You knew when I began working here. Vittoria lifted her chin. I found your name in an old hospital document many years ago. The report was incomplete. When the agency sent your employment information, I remembered it. Damien moved closer to his mother. Why was the hospital report buried? Because the fire was not an accident. The room seemed to narrow. Damien already believed someone had started the fire. He had spent years dismantling the families and crews that might have been involved. No proof had ever survived. Vittoria looked toward the windows. Your father had enemies. If the public learned that a young woman had carried Luca from the building, those enemies would have searched for her. I believed silence protected her. Olivia laughed softly. Protected me, Vittoria looked at her. You lived. I spent 8 months unable to close my hands. I lost my home. I lost every job I had. Reporters called me a liar because the official statement said, firefighters rescued the boy. Damien turned toward his mother. You allowed that I was trying to keep this family alive. You erased her. I saved her. Olivia stepped between them before Damien moved any closer. Neither of you saved me. The words silenced them both. Olivia faced Victoria. You were afraid that I knew something about the fire. Yes. So, you watched me. Victoria did not answer. Olivia looked at Damien. And you believe my employment here was arranged. The agency director vanished after placing you in this house. Then find him. Do not punish me because powerful people keep secrets from one another. Damien studied her face. Most people pleaded when they stood inside a locked Russo estate. Olivia demanded facts. She was afraid. He could see it in the rapid pulse at her neck and the tension in her shoulders. But she did not allow fear to control her voice. Damien found himself wanting to move closer. He did not. You will remain here tonight. No. Someone attempted to kill me 3 hours ago. That does not involve me. The man who arranged your employment may be connected to the attack. Grady. Then your security is not as impressive as everyone believes. Salvatore made a quiet sound near the door. Damien looked at him. His uncle stopped smiling. Olivia picked up her wet coat. I am going home. Damien stepped into her path. You are staying. Do you order every woman who disagrees with you? Only the ones being hunted by people they cannot see? You do not know that anyone is hunting me. Damien removed a telephone from his pocket. He opened a photograph and held the screen toward her. The image showed Olivia leaving her apartment 2 nights earlier. She carried a grocery bag beneath one arm. Someone had photographed her from across the street. A second image showed her entering the cleaning agency. A third showed her on a bus. Olivia stared at the screen. Where did you get these? From the telephone of a man who tried to kill me tonight. Cold moved down her spine. Damien placed the device back inside his coat. You are staying. This time, she did not argue. Damien assigned her a bedroom in the private east wing, 2 doors from his own. Olivia protested when she saw the silk walls, the fireplace, and the balcony overlooking the Hudson River. I need a locked door. Not a palace. You have both. I am not sleeping near your room. It is the safest room in the house. Because of the guards, because of me. His calm certainty should have sounded arrogant. Instead, it made her pulse quicken. She placed her coat on a chair. Damien remained near the doorway. Why did you save Luca? Olivia looked at him. He was a child. The building was already burning. He was still a child. You could have died. So could he. Damien watched her hands. The scars tightened when she formed a fist. He imagined her at 17. Walking into flames while trained adults waited for equipment. He imagined her carrying Luca through smoke. He imagined her waking alone in a hospital while the Russo family erased her name. His chest became tight. Olivia noticed. You do not owe me anything. I owe you everything. That is not the same as knowing me. Damien met her eyes. I intend to know you. The words were quiet. They felt more dangerous than a threat. Olivia stepped back. Gratitude does not give you ownership. No. Then tell your guards to stop watching me. I cannot do that. Her face hardened. Damien continued before she could speak. Not because of what you did 16 years ago. Because someone carrying photographs of you attempted to place 6 bullets inside my vehicle. She looked toward the balcony. Do you think I was the target I do not know? What happens when you decide? His expression became colder. Someone dies. Olivia believed him. Damien left the room. But he did not go to bed. He stood in the dark corridor for nearly an hour, listening for movement behind her door. He told himself it was security. He told himself she might attempt to leave. He told himself many things. None explained why he could still feel the shape of her wrist in his hand. Chapter 2. By morning, Olivia had made 3 decisions. She would not accept money from Damien. She would not allow fear to make her dependent on him. And she would leave the estate as soon as the person behind the photographs was identified. All 3 decisions became difficult before breakfast. She entered the kitchen and found Damien seated alone at the staff table. He had removed his jacket. A black shirt covered his powerful frame, and a fresh bandage crossed his left shoulder. The blood on his cuff had been his own. Olivia stopped. You were shot. The bullet passed through. You should be in a hospital. I dislike hospitals. That does not make you immune to infection. A cup of coffee waited across from him. Olivia looked at it. Is that for me, yes? How do you know how I take coffee? Damien looked toward the counter. The cook told me. The cook is not here? No. Olivia understood. He had questioned the staff about her. The realization should have angered her. Instead, it created an unsettling warmth beneath her ribs. She sat down, but did not touch the coffee. What did you learn about the agency director? His name is Malcolm Pierce. He left New York yesterday using false identification. Who paid him to hire me? We do not know yet. Damien looked at her. You are involved, whether you want to be or not. That sounds like something powerful men say when they do not want to ask permission. His gaze sharpened. You enjoy challenging me. I enjoy reminding you that the world does not belong to you. Most of it does. Olivia almost smiled. There it is. What? The arrogance. Damien leaned back. And yet you are drinking my coffee. She looked down and realized she had lifted the cup. For 1 second, something almost gentle passed between them. Then a guard entered the kitchen. Sir, there is a problem at the south gate. Damien stood. Olivia noticed the flash of pain he concealed when his injured shoulder moved. He reached for his jacket. Sit down. He looked at her. She pointed toward the chair. Your bandage is bleeding. It can wait. No. The guard lowered his eyes. As if witnessing a woman order Damien Russo to sit was more dangerous than the problem at the gate. Damien remained standing. Olivia opened a cabinet and found the medical supplies. Remove your shirt. The guard made a choking sound. Damien looked amused. Leave us. The guard disappeared. Olivia placed the supplies on the table. I meant the sleeve. You only need to remove your arm from the shirt. Disappointed. I am deciding whether infection might improve your personality. Damien slowly unbuttoned the shirt. Olivia tried not to look at his chest. She failed. His body carried scars that did not come from ordinary accidents. A narrow line crossed his ribs. Another marked the area above his heart. Black ink covered part of his right shoulder and disappeared around his back. He removed one arm from the shirt and sat. Olivia peeled away the blood-soaked bandage. The wound was clean but angry. Who stitched this? A doctor who values his life. He missed one section. Damien looked at her hands as she cleaned the injury. Do the scars hurt? Sometimes. When cold weather, stress, certain movements, you never received reconstructive treatment. Insurance covered enough to keep the wounds from killing me. His jaw tightened. Olivia noticed. Do not what? Do not decide to purchase a hospital because you feel guilty. I was considering purchasing the insurance company. She looked at him. He did not appear to be joking. Olivia finished the bandage. Damien reached toward her left hand. His fingers stopped before touching the curved scar. For a long moment, neither moved. His voice lowered. This mark came from the window latch. Yes, I saw it happen. Olivia looked at him. You were there. I was in the hallway. Why did you not take Luca? A burning beam fell between us. The words came out flat, but the pain beneath them filled the kitchen. Olivia understood then. Damien had spent 16 years believing he had abandoned his brother. You were trapped. I left the building. You survived. He looked at her. Luca was still inside. So was I. His eyes darkened. Olivia held his gaze. You did not leave him. You found another way out. I happened to find him first. Damien looked away. No one had spoken to him about the fire without fear or sympathy. Olivia offered neither. She offered truth. It unsettled him more than comfort would have. A loud explosion shook the windows. Damien rose instantly and pulled Olivia behind him. Guards rushed into the kitchen. Smoke climbed beyond the south garden. A vehicle had exploded near the gate. Damien drew a pistol from beneath the table. Olivia stared at it. "You keep a gun at breakfast, I keep one everywhere." He moved toward the door. Olivia caught his uninjured arm. "You are bleeding again." His gaze dropped to her hand. "Release me." "Not until someone else examines the gate." His guards waited. Damien looked at the woman holding him back, while armed men waited for his command. Fascination moved through him. No one protected Damien Russo from danger. People protected themselves from him. He placed the pistol into the hand of his security chief. "Check the gate." The man left with the others. Olivia released Damien. He looked at the place where her fingers had touched him. That was reckless. So is walking toward explosions after being shot? "You were afraid for me. I was afraid you would bleed on the floor I cleaned yesterday." His mouth almost curved. The explosion had destroyed an empty delivery vehicle. A message had been placed beneath the windshield. "The fire remembers her." Damien read the sentence twice. Then he ordered every photograph of Olivia removed from public databases. Every record of her employment sealed, and every person connected to her placed under discreet surveillance. He did not ask permission. By afternoon, Olivia discovered 2 guards outside her bedroom, another beside the kitchen, and a black vehicle following her when Damien finally allowed her to visit her apartment. She entered his office without knocking. He stood near the windows, speaking to a senator over the telephone. Olivia walked to his desk and placed the message from the gate in front of him. Damien ended the call. "You saw it. Your guard attempted to hide it. He will be corrected. Do not punish him. Explain this to me. Someone knows what happened in the fire. Many people know. Someone knows about you. Why now? That is what I intend to discover." Olivia placed both hands on his desk. "I am not staying here while you turn my life into one of your operations. You will remain until the threat ends. You are confusing protection with control." Damien walked around the desk. "And you are confusing independence with unnecessary risk." She lifted her chin. "I survived before meeting you. Someone photographed you for weeks without your knowledge. And your family buried my identity for 16 years. Perhaps the danger began with the Russo name." His face changed. The truth struck deeper because he could not deny it. Olivia continued, "I will stay tonight. Tomorrow." I returned to my apartment. No, that was not a request. Neither was my answer. They stood close enough for Olivia to feel the heat of him. She should have stepped back. She did not. Damien lifted one hand. His fingers moved toward her cheek, then stopped before touching her. The restraint in his body was more intimate than contact. His eyes lowered to her mouth. Olivia forgot the argument. For one dangerous second, she wondered what it would feel like if a man like Damien Russo stopped controlling himself. A knock sounded at the door. Damien lowered his hand. Luca entered. He looked between them. "Am I interrupting something?" "No," Olivia answered. "Yes," Damien said. Olivia stepped away. Luca smiled for the first time since the reunion. Damien did not. Jealousy had entered him before he understood that there was nothing to be jealous of. He disliked the feeling. He disliked even more how quickly Olivia noticed. Chapter 3. Luca asked Olivia to walk with him through the winter garden. Damien followed at a distance. Olivia pretended not to notice. The glass roof held the gray morning above them. White orchids climbed stone walls. A narrow pool reflected the lights. Luca spoke slowly about the years after the fire. His lungs had never fully recovered. Loud noises sometimes returned him to the burning apartment. He had spent much of his childhood in private clinics, while Damien rebuilt the family empire. "You remembered me all this time?" Olivia asked. "Not your face, your voice." Luca touched the scar on his neck. I remembered that you were scared too. That mattered. Olivia looked at him. Why adults always told me not to be afraid. You told me that you were afraid, but we could move anyway. Damien heard the words from behind them. He had spent years ordering Luca to be strong. Olivia had given him permission to be frightened. That difference explained why his brother trusted her after one night more than he trusted most people after years. They reached the end of the garden. A guard approached Damien and whispered something. Damien looked toward Olivia. Her former landlord had been found unconscious inside her apartment. Someone had searched every room. Damien did not tell her immediately. He waited until Luca returned to his bedroom. Then he led Olivia into the security office. Photographs covered one wall. Her apartment door. Her bedroom. Her empty kitchen cabinets. The site felt like a violation. Who did this? We are identifying fingerprints. Was my landlord hurt badly? He will live. Olivia turned toward Damien. I need to go there. No. My belongings are inside. They are being brought here. You sent people into my home, yes. Without asking me, yes. Anger rose through her. You do not understand boundaries. I understand threats. Those are not the same thing. Damien stepped closer. Someone entered your bedroom and placed a photograph of the Fulton Street building on your pillow. Olivia became still. Damien showed her the image. The old apartment building had been abandoned after the fire. A black circle had been drawn around the fourth-floor window. Her window. She felt the room tilt. Damien caught her elbow. Olivia pulled away. Do not. His hand remained suspended between them. You are safe here. Am I? His expression hardened. No one will reach you inside this estate. Your mother reached me. She erased my name, watched me enter this house, and sent me outside like I was something shameful. Damien had no answer. Olivia looked at the photographs. Whoever arranged my job wanted me here. Yes. Why? To force a reaction from someone in this family. Your mother reacted. So did Luca. And you. Damien studied the photographs again. The attack on the highway had occurred before he recognized her. The explosion happened after Luca confirmed her identity. Someone had been watching the dinner. Hidden surveillance. He ordered his men to search every camera system, staff telephone, and vehicle that had entered the estate. The discovery came before sunset. A camera no larger than a shirt button had been installed inside the courtyard light. It had recorded Olivia at the outside table. It had recorded Damien seeing her scars. It had recorded Luca embracing her. The signal had transmitted to a warehouse owned by a company connected to Salvatore Russo. Damien summoned his uncle to the library. Salvatore arrived with 2 attorneys and the expression of an insulted statesman. You accuse me because one of my companies leased a warehouse. Damien placed the camera on the table. I accuse you because the lease began 3 weeks before Olivia entered this house. Salvatore looked toward her. She stood beside the fireplace with Luca. Vittoria sat near the windows. This woman is a stranger, Salvatore said. She appears inside our private home, claims to have saved Luca, and suddenly our family turns against itself. Olivia stepped forward. I never claimed anything. Luca recognized me. Children remember stories incorrectly. Luca became pale. Damien moved before anyone else. He caught Salvatore by the throat and drove him against the wall. The attorneys backed away. Guards closed the doors. Damien spoke softly. Question my brother again. Salvatore struggled to breathe. Damien tightened his grip. Olivia crossed the room. Damien? He did not look at her. She placed one scarred hand against his wrist. Let him go. Every person in the room watched. Damien released Salvatore. His uncle fell against the wall. Coughing, Olivia withdrew her hand. Damien looked at her. He had obeyed before deciding to obey. That realization disturbed them both. Salvatore adjusted his collar. You see what she is doing. She controls you already. Damien turned toward him. Leave my home. The inheritance vote has not been completed. It is completed now. You will receive nothing. Victoria stood. Damien, think carefully. The company cannot survive a public conflict. The company will survive. Our family may not. Damien looked toward Olivia. That depends on the truth. Salvatore left beneath guard supervision. But Damien knew his uncle had not been defeated. Men like Salvatore never accepted losing power. They burned the board rather than lose the game. That night, Damien moved Olivia from the East Wing to his penthouse in Manhattan. She objected during the entire drive. The estate has more security. The camera proves that it does not. Your penthouse is still your territory. Everything in New York is my territory. She looked out the armored vehicle window. That must be lonely. Damien did not answer. The penthouse occupied the highest floors of a black glass tower. The elevator opened directly into a room overlooking Manhattan. Olivia walked toward the windows. Thousands of lights stretched beneath her. It was beautiful. It was also impossible to leave without Damien knowing. He watched her examine the room. I will not lock you in. You will only place guards at every exit. Yes. She turned. That is a locked door with better furniture. Damien removed his coat. Until I know who wants you dead, you remain where I can protect you. What happens when the danger ends? His gaze stayed on her. I have not considered that. Olivia understood the meaning. He had not imagined allowing her to leave. The realization should have frightened her. Part of it did. Another part moved lower, warmer, and far more dangerous. Damien showed her the guest room. A dress waited on the bed. Olivia looked at the dark green fabric. What is that clothing? I can see that. Your belongings have not arrived. So you purchased a dress. My assistant did. Olivia touched the fabric. It was the correct size. That meant someone had asked. She looked at him. Do you select clothing for every person under protection? No. Why me? Damien stepped closer. Because the gray uniform makes people believe they can overlook you. His eyes moved slowly over her face. They are wrong. Olivia felt her breath catch. Damien lifted one hand toward the burn scars at her wrist. Again. He stopped before touching. Why do you always stop? The question escaped before she could prevent it. His eyes met hers. Because when I touch you, I may not want to stop. Silence filled the room. Olivia felt danger in every inch between them. She also felt his restraint. That was what made him difficult to fear. A cruel man would have taken whatever he wanted. Damien waited. Olivia could have stepped away. Instead, she moved closer. His fingers touched the edge of her scar. The contact was careful, almost reverent. Damien traced the curve mark once. His breathing changed. Olivia placed her palm against his chest. His heart beat hard beneath her hand. The cold Mafia boss was not calm at all. Damien lowered his face toward hers. A telephone rang in the next room. He closed his eyes. The moment shattered. Damien stepped away and answered. Olivia remained beside the bed, staring at the hand he had touched. The call concerned another attack. A Russo shipping office in Brooklyn had exploded. On the wall beside the ruins, someone had painted the same message. The fire remembers her. Chapter 4. 3 days passed inside the penthouse. Damien slept very little. Olivia knew because she heard his footsteps outside her room each night. He never entered. He simply remained nearby. During the day, he held meetings with captains, attorneys, and security experts. Maps covered his office walls. Photographs of the old fire moved between desks. Olivia watched the criminal world gather around him. Damien never raised his voice. He did not need to. Men twice his age became silent when he looked at them. Decisions involving millions of dollars in human lives were made with a few calm words. Yet when Olivia entered the office with coffee, his attention shifted immediately. Every time. She began to feel the weight of his awareness before he looked at her. It followed her through rooms. It waited beyond doors. It unsettled her most when other men noticed her. Noah Reed arrived on the fourth afternoon. He was a former firefighter who had met Olivia during her recovery. He had helped her find physical therapy and later became one of her closest friends. When guards stopped him in the lobby, he called Olivia. She demanded that Damien allow him upstairs. Damien stood beside the penthouse bar when Noah entered. Noah was tall, friendly, and completely unimpressed by expensive surroundings. He embraced Olivia. Damien watched the embrace with frozen eyes. Noah stepped back. You disappeared for 3 days. Your apartment looks like a storm went through it. And men in black vehicles are following me. Olivia glanced at Damien. He is responsible for the vehicles. Noah looked at him. I assume so. Damien poured himself a drink. How long have you known Olivia? 14 years. Did you ever tell anyone about the fire? Noah frowned. Why? Answer. Olivia moved between them. He is not one of your suspects. Everyone is a suspect. Including me, Damien looked at her. Especially you. The answer hurt more than she expected. Damien saw it. He regretted the words instantly. But pride held him silent. Noah noticed the tension. He reached into his coat. 3 guards drew weapons. Olivia raised both hands. Stop. Noah slowly removed a paper envelope. Someone left this at my station. He placed it on the table. Inside was a photograph of Olivia leaving the hospital after her final surgery 16 years earlier. A man stood in the background. Only part of his face was visible, but the heavy ring on his hand was clear. A black stone, surrounded by silver wings. Damien recognized it. The ring belonged to Salvatore. Olivia stared at the photograph. He was there. Damien took the picture. Why? Noah looked at him. Perhaps he wanted to know what she remembered. Olivia searched her memory. The hospital hallway, a man asking whether she had seen anyone inside the burning apartment. A man promising to help with her bills. A man who never returned. She looked at Damien. Your uncle spoke to me. What did you tell him? Nothing useful. I said I heard 2 men arguing before the fire. What words? I do not remember. Damien moved closer. Try. Olivia closed her eyes. She heard the building again. Smoke. Breaking glass. A male voice in the stairwell. Another voice begging him to stop. Then one sentence. The boy is still upstairs. Damien became motionless. Who said it? I do not know. What happened next? The second man said the child was not part of the agreement. Noah looked toward Damien. What agreement? Damien already knew. His father had planned to transfer control of the family assets away from Salvatore. The documents had disappeared during the fire. The inheritance conflict had begun before the flames. Salvatore had not only destroyed the building, he had killed the father of Damien and attempted to kill Luca. Olivia had heard enough to expose him. That was why her identity had been erased. That was why Salvatore had monitored the hospital. Damien turned toward his security chief. Bring Salvatore to me. The man shook his head. We cannot find him. Damien looked at the city beneath the windows. Salvatore had begun a war. Olivia touched his arm. He looked down at her hand. Do not go after him alone. Damien faced her. You are asking me to be careful. I am asking you not to become the thing he believes you are. And what is that? A man who destroys everything when he is afraid. The truth in her words cut through him. He stepped closer. I am not afraid of Salvatore. No. Olivia held his gaze. You are afraid of losing Luca again. Damien said nothing. And now, she continued, you are afraid of losing me. Noah looked away. The guards became interested in the windows. Damien moved until Olivia stood between him and the table. You believe you understand me. I believe you stand outside my door every night because you cannot sleep. His eyes darken. You hear me, yes. Why did you never open the door? Because I was waiting to see whether you would enter without permission. And if I had, I would have left. Damien lowered his voice. You would not have reached the elevator. Olivia should have been frightened. Instead, she whispered, that is exactly why I did not open the door. Their faces were inches apart. The room seemed to disappear. Damien wanted to kiss her. He wanted to take every cruel memory in her life and place it beneath his heel. He wanted to remove Noah from the room, the building, and possibly New York. Most dangerously, he wanted Olivia to choose him without fear or debt. He had never needed anyone to choose him before. The need felt like weakness. He hated it. Damien stepped away. Noah remained at the penthouse only long enough to confirm that Olivia was safe. Before leaving, he spoke quietly to her near the elevator. Men like Damien do not love carefully. Olivia looked toward the office. Damien stood in the doorway, watching them. I do not think he does anything carefully. Noah touched her shoulder. Do not confuse being protected with being loved. Damien heard the words. After Noah left, he remained cold for the rest of the evening. Olivia found him on the rooftop near midnight. Wind moved across the tower. A helicopter waited on the landing platform. Black clouds gathered above the city. Damien stood near the edge without a coat. She approached him. Are you planning to stare at the skyline until Salvatore surrenders? It is possible. You were rude to Noah. He touched you too often. Olivia stopped. Was that jealousy? No. That answer sounded convincing. I do not become jealous. She almost laughed. Of course not. Damien turned toward her. Do you love him? No. Have you slept with him? The question was calm. His eyes were not. That is none of your business. Then the answer is yes. The answer is still none of your business. Damien approached. Wind pulled strands of hair across her face. He lifted one hand and brushed them away. You are becoming my business. Olivia felt anger and desire collide inside her. I am not one of your companies. I know. I am not an obligation because I saved Luca. I know. I am not something you can guard, purchase, or command. His hand remained against her cheek. That is the problem. What problem? I cannot command what you make me feel. The confession surprised them both. Damien lowered his forehead to hers. For one moment, the feared man who controlled half the harbor looked exhausted. Olivia touched the scar above his heart. What do I make you feel? He closed his eyes. Dependent. The honesty broke through her defenses. She kissed him. Damien remained still for half a heartbeat. Then his control ended. His arm closed around her waist and pulled her against him. His mouth moved over hers with restrained hunger that became less restrained with every breath. Olivia felt the dangerous strength in him. She also felt the care. He held her scars gently. He never forced her closer than she chose to move. When the kiss ended, Damien kept his forehead against hers. This changes nothing, Olivia whispered. It changes everything. I am still leaving when the thread ends. His hand tightened at her waist. No. She stepped back. There it is again. Damien reached for her, then stopped. Olivia saw the battle inside him. Possession came naturally. Trust did not. You cannot protect me by taking away every choice, she said. And you cannot ask me to watch you walk into danger. I am not asking. Damien looked toward the city. That is what frightens me. Chapter 5. The betrayal came the next morning. Olivia entered the office searching for Damien and found a hidden drawer open beneath his desk. Inside were files. Her files. Medical records, employment history, bank statements, photographs from the previous 3 days. One image showed her sleeping on the penthouse sofa. Another showed her laughing with Luca in the winter garden. A third showed her standing beside the bedroom window after midnight. Her hands began trembling. Damien entered behind her. Olivia. She turned. You watched me inside this home. His eyes moved toward the photographs. There are no cameras inside your bedroom. This was taken through the window. From the building across the street, my men were checking sight lines. Why keep it? Damien did not answer. Olivia understood. The photograph was not evidence. He kept it because she was in it. You investigated every part of my life. Someone was targeting you. You could have told me. I told you enough. Enough for whom his face became guarded. For your safety. No. Enough for your control. Damien closed the office door. I will not apologize for keeping you alive. I am not asking for an apology. I am asking whether there is any part of me you have not turned into information. His voice lowered. There are many parts of you I do not know. Then why does this feel like you tried to own them anyway? The accusation struck the fear he had refused to name. Damien moved closer. Nothing in those files changes what happened between us. It changes what I believed. What did you believe? That you saw me as a person? I do. You see a threat to manage. A debt to repay. A woman you want near enough to watch. You are more than that. Then prove it. How? Let me leave. Damien became still. Outside the office, guards waited. Across the city, Salvatore was preparing another attack. Every instinct inside Damien rejected the idea. No. Olivia nodded slowly. Then Noah was right. His expression darkened. Do not bring him into this. This is not about Noah. It is about you believing that fear gives you the right to decide for everyone. Damien looked at her scarred hands. 16 years earlier, he had left a burning building while Olivia entered it. Now he wanted to lock every door around her. He called it protection. She called it fear. He knew she was right. That did not make releasing her easier. Olivia walked toward the door. Damien caught her wrist. She looked down at his hand. He released her. The small motion cost him more than any act of violence. You may leave, he said. Olivia searched his face. Will your guards follow me? Yes. Then I am not free. They will remain far enough away that you will not see them. I will know. Damien looked toward the photographs. I cannot give you that. Then you have learned nothing. She left the penthouse. Damien stood alone inside the office. He did not break the desk. He did not order the elevator stopped. He did not drag her back. Instead, he watched the security screen as Olivia entered a black vehicle and instructed the driver to take her to the hospital where Noah worked. Damien remained calm for 6 minutes. Then the vehicle disappeared from the tracking system. Every light on the screen went dark. His security chief called the driver. No answer. Damien felt the world become silent. The old apartment hallway returned around him. Smoke. A fallen beam. Luca, screaming from the other side. He had released Olivia, and the fire had taken her. Again, Damien reached for his weapon. Across Manhattan. Olivia woke inside the back of a moving van. Her wrists were bound. Pain moved through her shoulder. The last thing she remembered was the driver stopping near a tunnel because a delivery vehicle blocked the road. Then the door had opened. A cloth covered her face. Now darkness surrounded her. A man sat across from her. Salvatore Russo. He wore a gray suit and the black stone ring from the photograph. You caused a great deal of trouble, he said. Olivia tested the bindings. Where is the driver? Alive. For now. Damien will find me. Salvatore smiled. That is the purpose. The van stopped. Men pulled Olivia into an abandoned building. She recognized the street before she recognized the structure. Fulton Street. The apartment building had survived 16 years of neglect. Blackened bricks surrounded broken windows. The city had approved demolition, but work had not begun. Salvatore led her up the stairs. Each step carried her deeper into the worst memory of her life. They reached apartment 4. The walls remained burned. The old window latch was still attached to the frame. Olivia looked at the curved metal. Her scar began to ache. Salvatore closed the door. Damien believes I tried to kill Luca. Did you? The child was not supposed to be upstairs. That is not an answer. He looked at her. Yes. Olivia felt sick. Why? The father of Damien planned to remove me from every family company. He believed I had stolen money. Had you? Of course. Salvatore sounded almost offended by the question. The fire was supposed to destroy the financial records and frighten him. He returned to the building. Luca remained upstairs. Events became unfortunate. You murdered him. I corrected a threat. And Luca, a witness. Olivia looked at the man who had carried respect inside the Russo family for decades. You watched Damien blame himself. Guilt made him useful. It made him violent. It helped rebuild the empire I intended to inherit. Why bring me into the estate? Vittoria had begun reviewing old hospital records. I needed to know whether you remembered me. Placing you near the family forced everyone to reveal what they knew. You attacked Damien before he saw my scars. I needed the dinner vote delayed. And now, Damien will come here. Salvatore walked toward the window. He will enter the same fire again. This time, he will not leave. Men carried fuel containers into the hallway. Olivia looked toward the door. You cannot defeat him. No. Salvatore smiled. But you can. A sound came from the room beside them. Olivia turned. Luca sat against the wall with his hands bound. Blood marked his temple. He looked at her. I am sorry. Olivia rushed toward him. But Salvatore caught her arm. Luca had received a false message claiming Olivia needed help. He had left the estate without guards and walked directly into the trap. Salvatore placed Olivia beside him. Damien will choose between the brother he failed and the woman he cannot release. Olivia stared at Salvatore. You do not know Damien. I helped create him. No. She looked at Luca. You helped create his pain. That is not the same thing. Salvatore left the room. The door locked behind him. Smoke began entering beneath it. Chapter 6. Damien reached Fulton Street in 12 minutes. Black vehicles surrounded the block. Armed men secured rooftops and intersections. Rain poured between the abandoned buildings. Flames were already moving through the 4th floor. The security chief caught the arm of Damien. We need the fire department. Damien pulled free. They are 10 minutes away. You cannot enter alone. Damien looked at the burning window. 16 years earlier. He had waited outside while someone else saved Luca. He would not wait again. Give me your weapon. The man handed him a pistol. Damien entered the building. Gunfire erupted from the 2nd floor. He moved through smoke with controlled violence. One attacker fell near the stairs. Another fired from behind a wall. Damien returned 2 shots and continued upward. Every flame carried a memory. His father shouting. Luca screaming. The face of Olivia beneath the rooftop wind. Her voice telling him that fear did not give him the right to decide for everyone. He had released her because she asked. Now terror filled every part of him. He no longer feared death. He feared entering apartment 4 and finding that he had understood love only after losing it. Inside the room, Olivia pulled at the restraints around her wrists. The plastic cut into her scars. Luca struggled beside her. The smoke is getting thicker. I know. There was no clear exit. Fire blocked the door. The window opened onto a 4-story drop. Olivia examined the burned radiator beneath the wall. A jagged piece of metal extended from the base. She pressed the binding against it. Pain moved through her damaged hands. Luca saw blood appear. Stop. You are hurting yourself. I have survived worse. You should leave me if you get free. Olivia looked at him. We had this conversation 16 years ago. Despite the smoke, Luca almost smiled. You do not remember everything. I remember enough. The binding snapped. Olivia freed Luca and pushed him toward the window. A fire escape remained outside, rusted but attached. You go first. What about you? I am behind you. Gunfire sounded in the hallway. The door burst open. Damien entered through smoke. Blood covered one side of his face. Olivia felt relief so intense that her knees weakened. Damien saw Luca near the window. Then he saw Olivia. For 1 second, the ruthless control vanished from his face. He crossed the room and pulled her against him. His hands moved over her shoulders, her face, and her bleeding wrists. Are you hurt? I am alive. His forehead touched hers. I should never have let you leave. Olivia caught his face. You should have trusted me. This is not the moment to confuse those things. A bullet struck the wall. Damien covered her with his body. Salvatore stood in the hallway. Fire moved behind him. Luca climbed through the window toward the fire escape. Damien pushed Olivia toward him. Go. She gripped his shirt. Not without you. Damien looked at her. The fear in his eyes was raw. For once, do what I say. No. Olivia. I did not enter this building 16 years ago to become a woman who leaves people behind. Salvatore fired again. The bullet entered Damien beneath his ribs. He staggered. Olivia caught him. Damien raised his pistol and fired. Salvatore fell against the doorframe, but he remained alive. Flames climbed his suit. He looked at Damien with hatred. This family should have belonged to me. Damien pressed one hand against the wound in his side. You destroyed it before it could. Salvatore reached for his weapon. Olivia saw the movement. She lifted a burning wooden board from the floor and struck his arm. The gun slid into the flames. Salvatore caught her injured wrist. Olivia cried out. Damien moved with terrifying speed. He drove Salvatore against the wall and closed one hand around his throat. Fire surrounded them. Salvatore smiled through the pain. You cannot kill me in front of her. She still believes there is something human inside you. Damien looked at Olivia. She saw the violence in him. She also saw the man who had sat outside in the rain because she had been humiliated. The man who stood outside her door without entering. The man who had released her wrist even when every instinct demanded control. Olivia spoke through the smoke. Do not become him. Damien looked back at Salvatore. Then he released him. For 1 second, Salvatore appeared surprised. The ceiling collapsed above the doorway. Burning wood fell between them. Salvatore disappeared beneath it. Damien turned toward Olivia. The floor shifted. He pulled her against his chest as flames moved across the room. They reached the window. Luca waited on the fire escape below. Damien helped Olivia through first. The metal groaned beneath their weight. A second explosion shook the building. The fire escape tore away from the wall. Damien wrapped one arm around Olivia. They fell toward the platform below. His back struck the railing. Olivia heard the air leave his lungs. The structure collapsed another level. Guards reached them from ladders. Damien refused help until Luca was lowered to the street. Then his legs failed. Olivia caught his face between her scarred hands. Stay with me. His eyes struggled to focus. You left the penthouse. You told me I could. I hated it. I know. His blood covered her clothes. Damien touched the curved scar near her thumb. I searched 16 years for these hands. Olivia pressed her forehead to his. Then do not die now that you found them. Sirens approached through the rain. Damien was placed on a stretcher. Before the ambulance doors closed, his hand reached for Olivia. She climbed inside beside him. For the first time in his life, Damien Russo allowed someone to see that he was afraid. Chapter 7. Damien survived surgery. The bullet had missed his liver by less than an inch. Luca suffered smoke inhalation, but no permanent damage. Salvatore died inside the apartment. Evidence recovered from his private accounts exposed payments to the building manager, hospital officials, and the men who attacked Damien. The truth spread through New York in controlled pieces. The public learned that Olivia Hayes had saved a child from a burning building 16 years earlier. They did not learn the full history of the Russo family. Damien made certain of that. Olivia remained beside his hospital bed for 2 days. On the third morning, he woke and found the chair beside him empty. Panic entered his chest before he could control it. He reached for the call button. The door opened. Olivia walked inside carrying coffee. Her hands were wrapped in clean bandages. Damien stared at them. "You are hurt. The cuts will heal." He tried to sit. Pain stopped him. Olivia placed the coffee on the table. "You were shot. Try not to fight the bed." "Where were you?" "Downstairs." "Why? You asked for coffee during the night?" "I would have sent someone." "I know." He watched her move around the room. "Are you leaving?" Olivia stopped near the window. "Yes." The answer struck harder than the bullet. Damien looked away. When today, his face became unreadable. Olivia approached the bed. "I am leaving the penthouse." He looked at her again. "Not you." Silence held between them. Damien breathed carefully. "Explain." "I found an apartment. It has a strong lock, 2 exits, and no armed guards inside the kitchen." "No." Olivia raised one eyebrow. Damien closed his eyes. The word had escaped before thought. He tried again. "I do not like it." "That is better." He opened his eyes. "I can purchase the building." "You will not." "I can place security across the street. 1 vehicle. 3. 1. 2. 1 vehicle." "Damien." He looked at her bandaged hands. "1 visible vehicle. Others will remain invisible." She almost argued, then saw the fear beneath his control. 1 visible vehicle. "No cameras inside. No files I cannot see." "Agreed." "No decisions about my work." "Agreed." "No threatening, Noah." Damien became silent. Olivia waited. "No permanent injuries." He said, "That is not an agreement. It is the best I can offer." She smiled. The sight affected him more deeply than pain medication. Damien held out his hand. Olivia placed hers inside it. His fingers closed carefully around the bandages. "I do not know how to do this," he said. "Do what?" "Need someone without trying to control the possibility of losing them." Olivia sat beside him. "Then learn." His thumb moved over her wrist. "Will you stay while I learn?" "That depends." "On what?" "Whether you understand that I am not staying because you owe me." Damien lifted her hand to his mouth. He kissed the center of her bandage. "I stopped believing this was gratitude the first night you argued with me in my kitchen." "When did you understand what it was?" "On the rooftop." Olivia studied him. "You looked terrified." "I was. Of kissing me, of needing another one." She leaned closer. "That fear seems manageable." Damien touched her cheek. This time, he did not stop. He kissed her slowly. There was no urgency, no smoke, and no gunfire. Only the steady pressure of his mouth and the quiet surrender of a man who had spent his life believing control was the same thing as strength. When they separated, Damien kept her close. "I love you." Olivia became still. The words seemed to surprise him. He had not planned them. Damien Russo planned everything. That made the confession more powerful. Olivia searched his face. "You do not have to say it because you almost died. I am saying it because almost dying removed my patience for pretending otherwise." She touched the scar above his heart. "I love you too." Damien closed his eyes. Relief moved through him like pain. He pulled her against his chest and ignored the medical monitor, protesting beside the bed. The door opened. Victoria stood in the hallway. She looked older than she had a week earlier. Olivia began to move away, but Damien kept one arm around her. His mother noticed. "I would like to speak with Olivia." "You may speak here." Victoria looked at her son. Privately, Olivia touched the hand of Damien. "It is fine." He did not release her immediately. She waited. Finally, he let go. Victoria led Olivia into the hospital garden. Morning sunlight moved through glass walls. Small trees grew around stone benches. For several moments, Victoria said nothing. Then she removed her gloves. Her hands shook. "I knew your name after the fire." Olivia looked at her. "I suspected that. I've visited the hospital once." Olivia remembered a woman standing at the end of the hallway while nurses changed the dressings on her hands. "You never entered the room?" "No." "Why?" Victoria looked toward the trees. "Luca was fighting for his life. My husband was dead. Salvatore told me the woman who rescued Luca might have been involved with the men who started the fire. And you believed him." "I believed everyone was dangerous." Olivia understood fear. She did not excuse cruelty. "You allowed me to be called a liar." "Yes." "You watched me struggle." "Yes." "Why did you hire me?" Victoria looked at her. "I did not. Salvatore arranged it through the agency. When I recognized your name, I kept you close because I wanted to know what you remembered. Then you sent me outside." Shame filled the face of Victoria. "I spent years believing that dignity came from controlling how powerful people saw this family. When I saw you near the guests, I saw a threat to the image I had built." Olivia remained silent. Victoria continued. "My son carried his chair outside because you had more dignity at that folding table than anyone inside my dining room." The apology did not erase 16 years, but it was honest. Olivia looked through the glass toward the hospital room. "Damien loves you." Victoria said, "He is learning how. He will destroy anyone who harms you." "I know." "That includes himself." Olivia looked at her. "What do you mean Damien believes devotion is proven through sacrifice? He will stand inside every fire if it keeps you warm." Olivia thought of the burning apartment. "Then I will have to teach him that love also means leaving the fire together." Victoria nodded. For the first time, something like respect passed between them. Chapter 8. 6 months later, the Russo estate hosted another family dinner. The guest list was smaller. No politicians attended. No judges arrived in secret vehicles. The tables were placed outside before anyone entered the dining room. White roses covered the courtyard. Sunlight moved across the stone. The Hudson River shone beyond the gardens. Olivia arrived through the main entrance. She no longer wore a cleaning uniform. The dark green dress Damien had purchased months earlier had been altered to fit her perfectly. Her auburn hair rested over one shoulder. The scars on her hands remained uncovered. Guests noticed them. Olivia did not hide. Luca waited near the courtyard with Noah. Together, they had created a foundation for survivors of residential fires and families facing long medical recoveries. The first center would open the following week on Fulton Street. The old apartment building had been demolished. In its place stood a bright brick building with emergency housing, physical therapy rooms, and free legal assistance. The entrance carried no Russo name. A small plaque near the doors read Olivia House. She had argued about the name for 3 days. Damien had listened carefully. Then he ignored her. Some habits required more time. Victoria approached carrying 2 plates. She handed one to Olivia. "The seat beside Damien is waiting." Olivia looked toward the table. Damien stood at the far end in a black suit. Powerful men still lowered their voices when he passed. Guards remained near every entrance. The criminal world had not become gentle because he had fallen in love. Neither had Damien. 3 weeks earlier. A rival captain had threatened Olivia during a negotiation. The man had vanished from New York before sunrise. Olivia had asked no questions. Damien had offered no lies. Their love did not make his world safe. It made safety personal. He saw Olivia and stopped listening to the man beside him. His attention followed her across the courtyard. It always did. She reached him. "You are staring." "Yes. People will notice. They already know." Damien pulled out her chair. Olivia sat. He remained standing. "Where is your chair?" she asked. Damien looked toward the doorway. A guard carried the same metal folding chair from the first dinner. The chair had been cleaned and restored, but one small rust mark remained near the leg. Olivia stared at it. "You kept that." Damien placed it beside her. "It was the first place I understood that every person inside my home could be wrong except the woman sitting outside." He sat. Luca raised his glass from across the table. "To the woman who entered a fire for a stranger." Olivia looked at him. "And to the brother who finally learned to stop blaming himself for surviving." Everyone turned toward Damien. He disliked public attention when it involved emotion. Olivia smiled. Damien lifted his glass. "And to the woman who taught me that protection without trust is only another kind of cage." Vittoria lowered her eyes. Olivia touched the hand of Damien beneath the table. Dinner continued beneath the warm evening sky. For a few hours, the Russo family was not an empire. It was a group of damaged people learning how to remain at the same table without using fear as a weapon. After the final guests departed, Damien led Olivia through the garden. Black vehicles waited beyond the gates. Guards remained far enough away to provide privacy. They reached the stone terrace overlooking the river. Olivia rested her hands on the railing. "This is where you plan to tell me you purchased another building without asking?" "No." "A hospital?" "No." "An insurance company?" "Not yet." She turned toward him. Damien removed a small black box from his coat. Olivia stared at it. He opened the box. Inside was a simple diamond ring, surrounded by a narrow band of dark metal. She looked at him. Damien Russo did not kneel. He had told her once that men in his world only knelt when surrendering or dying. Tonight, he lowered himself onto one knee. Olivia forgot how to breathe. Damien took her left hand. His fingers traced the curved scar near her thumb. 16 years ago. "These hands saved my brother." His voice remained steady, but his eyes revealed everything. 6 months ago. "They stopped me from killing a man while fire surrounded us." Olivia touched his face. Damien continued, "You have stood against my family, my enemies, my guards, and every terrible instinct I possess." Sometimes before breakfast, he almost smiled. "You are the only person who has ever made me want a life larger than power." The wind moved through the trees. Olivia felt tears fill her eyes. Damien looked at the ring. "This is not payment. It is not gratitude. It is not protection." "Then, what is it?" "A choice." He looked up at her. "Mine is already made." Olivia remembered the folding table beneath the rain. She remembered the feared Mafia boss carrying his chair outside while the wealthiest people in New York watched. At the time, she believed he had done it because of her scars. Now, she understood. Damien had seen something he could not ignore. Not the wounds. The person carrying them. Olivia tightened her hand around his. "Yes." Damien did not move. "Yes, I will marry you." Relief changed his face. Then possession followed. He stood, placed the ring on her finger, and pulled her against him. His kiss was deep and certain. The city lights appeared beyond the river. Olivia felt the heart of Damien beating beneath her palm. It was still the heart of a dangerous man. A man feared by enemies, obeyed by powerful families, and watched by an entire criminal empire. But with her, he no longer hid every wound beneath control. He allowed himself to need. He allowed himself to trust. He allowed himself to love without turning love into a cage. Behind them, the glass doors of the estate opened. Luca stepped outside with Vittoria and several members of the staff. Someone had discovered the proposal. Applause filled the garden. Olivia laughed against the mouth of Damien. You planned this. I planned the ring. Not the audience. Damien looked toward his family. No. Olivia raised an eyebrow. He lowered his voice. I may have informed Luca where we would be. She kissed him again. Later that night, everyone returned to the courtyard. No one entered the formal dining room. Staff members, guards, family members, and delivery workers sat at the same long tables beneath strings of warm lights. Vittoria served the first plate to Olivia. Luca placed the old folding chair at the head of the table. Damien refused it. He moved the chair beside Olivia instead. That was where he belonged. Not above her. Not in front of her. Beside her. Olivia rested her scarred hand over his. Damien turned the new ring gently around her finger. Beyond the gates, black vehicles guarded the road. Enemies still waited in distant rooms. Danger had not disappeared. It never would. But the woman once ordered to eat outside now sat at the center of the most powerful family in New York. Not because a mafia boss had rescued her, because she had walked through fire long before he knew her name. And when Damien Russo finally found her, he did not save her from the darkness. He carried his chair into it. Then he sat beside her until morning.